Hi there, everyone. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the parish clerk for Bynum and Bradenstoke. Welcome this evening. Appreciate you making time to meet with us. I don't know if you want to take a couple of minutes and introduce yourselves, or if you'd like me to do introductions.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm Matthew Roberts, who I know we've spoken over the past few weeks, Elizabeth, just via email and whatnot. I'm from JBP. We're working with Vistry regarding the Reserve Matters application, just handling various aspects related to engagement with stakeholders in the community. So I think if we just introduce the rest of ourselves, and then we can go around parish council if that's all right with you.
Yep. Go ahead. That's great.
Thank you. So I'll jump in. Sorry, I'm Matthew Davis. So I'm in the development team at Vistry Partnerships. Been dealing with the Bynum site for the past few months.
I'm Faith Beeson-Wright, also at Vistry Partnerships in the development team. I'm the planning manager, so I'm working on the Reserve Matters submission.
Hi, I'm Harry J. I'm also at Vistry. Mainly here for a bit of experience and training, but assisting with the Reserve Matters application for this as well.
And hello, my name is Sarah Hawkins. I'm from Old King Planning Consultants and dealing with town planning matters on behalf of Vistry Partnerships.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Sorry, I was writing stuff down there. I'm Anthony Jones, Councillor Anthony Jones, Chair of Bynum and Bradenstoke Parish Council.
Hi, I'm Frank Ball. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Parish Council.
Ron?
I'm Shindy Green, Parish Councillor.
Ron Glover. I'm just a parish councillor doing this bit.
Claire?
That's it.
Claire? We have another councillor on, Claire Church. I don't know if her microphone is...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I was just quiet.
That's okay. I think that's it.
Yes, so we've got a presentation which we will do, if that's all right, which will take about 10-15 minutes or so, and just about the proposals and like the background to it, and then we'd welcome any questions, and we'll do our best to answer those as much as possible. But yeah, if it's all right with you, I'll just share my screen and bring up the presentation.
That would be great. Thank you.
Bear with me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So yeah, well, thank you for making the time to see us on late on a Wednesday evening. We'll just run through the proposals, and if Faith, you want to just kick off with just a bit of a background to Vistry, if that's all right.
Yes, thank you, Matthew. And just to echo that, thank you so much for giving up your time late on a Wednesday night. It's much appreciated. I just thought I'll kick off with giving a little bit of background about who we are. So you might have heard of Vistry Group. We are a merger between Bovis Homes, Galliford Try and Linden. And we're one of the top 5 UK house builders. We ourselves, Matthew and I and Harry, we sit in Vistry Partnerships West. If you flick onto the next slide, I'll explain a little bit more about Vistry Partnerships. So Vistry Partnerships, we are based in North Bristol, delivering sites across the West region. We are very much a partnerships business, so a bit of a unique business model where we work in partnerships with registered housing providers, housing associations and local authorities, generally delivering schemes that will have 50% or more affordable housing. So examples of schemes that we've worked on in Bristol, if you might have heard of, is Romney Avenue with Gorham Homes, which is Bristol's housing delivery partner, and that's 50% affordable homes, and also Blackberry Hill Hospital in East Bristol. And then an example of a scheme outside of Bristol is one we're working in Kingsdown and Bridgewater, which is actually 100% affordable home scheme that we're delivering on behalf of Stonewater. So we tend to work with registered providers such as Stonewater and Adbury and Clarion, and then local authorities as well. A little bit of site history. I'm sure you're all fully aware of the sort of long planning history at the site. Several planning applications were submitted until there was an approval for 50 homes back in November 2020, which was Gleason's application. Just to explain, it's now our site that we're delivering. We've bought the site off Gleason, so it's Vistry Partnerships that will be bringing the site forward, and we'll be delivering the site, and we're very much sort of keen to get cracking quickly on our sites, and we've picked it up, and we will be increasing the affordable housing to 50%, which fits our model, and we'll also be looking to create more green space and visitor car parking. I think Sarah will pick that up in a bit more detail when we go through the scheme.
Thank you, Faith. So as just explained, Vistry are seeking to deliver the 2020 outline plan of permission in line with the principles that have been set out in the approved outline master plan. So the reserve matters that we want to be submitting are going to be for 50 homes with the serviced land for a D2 use, a future D2 use, and then the landscaped open space. So the reserve matters will be the scale, layout and external appearance of the development and the landscaping of the site. You may well remember that the access was agreed at the outline stage, and the reserve matter scheme that we are coming forward with does not change that site access in any way. That junction onto the A3102 is as per the approved details at that stage. So we wish to deliver 50% of the homes, so 25 homes will be affordable, and it will be a mix of shared ownership and affordable rent. The idea is that the 40%, which was required under the Section 106 agreement, will be as per the requirements of that legal agreement. So that would deliver 60% affordable rent and 40% shared ownership, and the additional 10%, the tenure hasn't yet been agreed, but there will be an additional 5 homes being delivered as affordable on the scheme. So there have been some limited changes from the outline position, and these have sought to increase just slightly the amount of open space on the site. There's also going to be an enhancement of landscaping with delivering further car parking spaces and, of course, the additional affordable homes. So the scheme that we want to, come forward has been sort of designed and landscaped to ensure that the scheme is as sympathetic and respectful to its surroundings as it can be. Matthew, if you can go on to the next slide, we can look at the landscape master plan in a bit more detail. So the aim is that we're wanting to work with and enhance the existing features of the site. So we've got new hedgerows and trees to provide visual screening between the rear of existing houses and the Vistry site itself, in forming part of the development boundary. We know it's particularly important for the area backing onto Pound Close, and that's where, again, in line with the outline discussions, the position of the 6 bungalows are being positioned. In terms of protecting the setting of the nearby Grade 2 listed building, the old rectory to the northeast, this has been achieved through creation of the open space, so you ensure separation between the new built form and the listed building. And in that location, in that corner, there's going to be new woodland planting as well. So there's new opportunities created for new native wildlife through the proposed wildlife meadows and orchard style planting, and we're seeking to enhance existing footpaths that do run across the site and linking these in into the existing residential areas. So we're aiming for an enhancement of the existing tree canopy through the new planting of native trees and shrubs and other vegetation, which in turn should increase the habitat value and biodiversity of the site. Matthew, if we can go on to the next slide. In terms of the matters raised by the community and stakeholders at the outline stage, dealing with the first one, parking, we're seeking to deliver 100 spaces for residents on site, which and in addition 21 garages, and there will be a further 11 visitor spaces, which will be scattered across the site. And then we've got the 20 spaces which were being provided for in terms of the future D2 use on that part of the site. There's also a number of electrical vehicle charging points which will be positioned at the visitor spaces, and there's also the hook up to electrical charging points at their homes for charging electrical cars. In addition, there's 50 cycle parking spaces, and they're being provided both in garages and or separate secure shelters. So looking at the scale of the development, as noted, there will be an additional 10% of them will be affordable, so that would be the 25 affordable units. We're looking to align very close with the outline planning permission, so that gave a limit of 50 dwellings, a limit of 2 stories for the houses, and ensuring that there were 6 bungalows being delivered again, clustered around the properties on Pound Close. And hopefully this will provide, a first step onto the housing ladder for local people and families through the increased number of affordable homes. And again, the comprehensive landscape master plan that we've just described to you, that provides 3,400 square metres of publicly accessible open space, working with the existing watercourse and the features on the site, and enhancing the network of footpaths. So looking at local infrastructure and facilities, first of all, we have the SIL contribution, and that would be payable on the open market homes, and it's a rate of 109 index linked per square metres. Thus, that will allow the development to support and improve the range of facilities in line and through that contribution. And then there's the site-specific ones that were agreed at the outline through the 106, and this was split. So there was a £2,602,000 contribution to primary schools, 229,000 to secondary schools, 14,000 to the Ballards Ash Rugby Ground, 39,000 to the off-site play area, and then there was contributions both through waste and recycling, and also to a traffic regulation order in order to reduce the speeds to 30 miles per hour, increasing that amount that does that at the moment on the A3102. So looking at next steps, if we can have next slide. We believe, we're bringing forward a well-conceived detailed scheme, working with the outline position and reflecting the characteristics of the site. We've submitted a pre-application to Wiltshire Council as a forerunner to making a reserve matters application later this month, hopefully. As well as speaking to yourselves, we've also spoken to the ward councillor, which I know is also observing this meeting, and also to Tottenham Parish Parish Council. We obviously want to keep in touch with you as our plans evolve, but at the moment, if you've got any questions, we'll endeavour to answer them as best we can. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for that. Thank you for the brief. Can you just remind me what D2 use means again, please?
It was yeah, D2 it has moved on in terms of the use class, but this was before that change. So D2 was a sort of, it was a leisure use, but it was envisaged, as I understand it, as a community use. But it was something like a scout hut or something like that, but not necessarily a scout hut, but that was our understanding. So the intention is to provide a sort of serviced plot, so that could come forward at a future time.
Okay, thank you.
I should say, by the way, if you want me to share the screen again and bring up the presentation, then let me know and I'll happily go to any page that you like.
Okay, thank you for that, Matthew. There's nothing much more for me, really. So you're looking to put the application forward later this month?
Yes, we've had some initial feedback from the Wiltshire Council on the pre-app, and we're just hoping to have a meeting maybe to discuss those points, and then, you know, submit an application as soon as we're ready after that, which hopefully will be this month, but, you know, if not early in September. So yeah, shortly as we can get ourselves organised.
Okay. And when, so if it all goes ahead with a good breeze, when are you looking to start building then?
I leave that to Matt to answer.
Yeah, Matthew, do you want to pick that up?
Yeah, I think I would say obviously, you know, it depends through the planning process in terms of timescales for determination. But I would like to think that, you know, we'd be in a position to start on site early next year with a planning consent. So yeah, hopefully we'd be putting a spade in the ground in the early months of 22.
Okay,
But
thank you for that.
obviously at this stage, it's you know, that's the aspiration. But
yeah, sure. But yeah, you obviously need some scope to your project, don't you?
Yeah, and I think obviously we'll put in as many pre-commencement conditions in with our reserve matters as well, just to sort of twin track that process.
Okay, all right. I'll open the floor up to the rest of the councillors. Any points from the rest of you lot?
I only had one, and that you mentioned a hospital. Where's that likely to be built, and how many beds are you going to accommodate?
Sorry, could you just repeat the question? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I think you mentioned earlier on that there was a hospital to be built. Is that right? No?
No, go on, Matthew.
Well, the application is the reserve matters application for 50 homes, which were granted outline permission last year, and the community use, but those were the only buildings, I suppose, to be built on the site.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Frank, you're on mute.
Hi, this is Frank here. Can I just say, you say you're building 50 houses, but only building 21 garages. That seems a bit strange.
So
with most houses nowadays, it's double garages rather than only one.
Yeah, so the scheme has 100 parking spaces and 21 garages to make up 121 spaces for cars to be parked on the site, plus visitor parking as well.
I think often local authorities and highways like to see a mix of garages and car parking spaces, just because I think some people don't necessarily use their garages for car parking all the time, so they like to see a mix of both.
But some authorities don't even count garages for parking for that very reason. So yeah.
I've got another. Quite a few people have been saying in the village that we're short of football pitches and tennis courts. Is there any chance that any of your land could be used for these facilities?
Would the obvious place be where the D2 land is, if that could accommodate something? It's something we could look into.
Just bear that in mind when you come to. That is what has been mentioned in the village, that we are short of tennis courts.
Yeah.
And pitches.
I mean, we're making a contribution to the Balazs rugby ground, so whether some of that money might be able to be directed there, but used for those purposes, I don't know. But that is part of already agreed. There's £14,000 going that direction. So in terms of playing fields contribution.
Okay. I just wanted it to sort of air that we are interested in these sort of areas, but because I know it'll eventually come back down to planning themselves to talk about these things. But the villagers are interested in having also a cricket pitch was mentioned, but I think football and tennis court would be a good move.
I think that's definitely something to note, and maybe something to pick up in our planning application or pre-application discussions in terms of how that money might be spent as well by Wiltshire Council.
Yeah, I believe more allotments were mentioned as well somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think we talked about community orchards and allotments, didn't we, on a previous call with the other parish.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any more points from the rest of the councillors? Any more comments?
No.
No.
Okay, super. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you for your time and putting the presentation together. Would it be possible to send the clerk a copy of the presentation, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll PDF it and send it across.
Marvellous. Thank you for that, Matthew.
Yeah, no problem at all. Needless to say that if there's any further questions beyond this meeting or afterwards, then just feel free to just send us over an email and or give us a ring.
Is that to you, Matthew?
Yeah, just okay. We're all copied in on the email chain, which is going at the moment anyway. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, we'll all see it. And if there is anything, just give us a shout, and we'll come back with an answer.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah. That's no problem at all.
If there's no further points from anybody else, we'll draw a line there.
Yeah. Well, okay, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it. And
thank you.
Yeah, for giving up your time on a Wednesday evening. So
no, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Joel.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.